Futures and options on futures trading involve substantial risk and is not a suitable investment for all types of investors. Past results are not necessarily indicative of future results. When I use the word I in this video, it refers to what I teach in my charting course or what I offer in my twice daily oral and written updates. Prices shown on charts and quote boards are in real time and take into account all known activity up to this point in time. And if you'd like to read more of this disclaimer, simply hit the pause key on your video player. Good weekend, everyone. Ira Epstein of Linden Associates with your financial market update for this weekend of Friday, and this is the 3rd of March, 2017. We're around 3:40 p.m. as I'm doing this. Now, we're still open in the stock indices, but you're going to finish the day out just about at these prices, which is interesting. Fed Chairwoman Yellen spoke today, and I mean, after what she said, the Fed watch page at the CME Group shot up to about 86% probability of a March rate hike. So the market knows it. Interesting, the dollar broke hard on the news. Gold and silver came back, but you'll notice that they're going to settle lower on the day. Remember, settlements come in 12:30 Chicago time. Ms. Yellen began speaking at noon, so you got to take all that into account. As you take a look at the energy markets, a bit of a bounce today, especially in the crude, and Libya's having an issue. Again, their main port under siege with not fire, but I'm talking insurgents and all kinds of problems, so that gave that market a little bit of a bid. Now, as I say, we're going to be dealing on the weekly charts, in which I start off for your first chart on a monthly chart whenever we pick a stock index. And I've chosen the S&P to begin with here. And this being a monthly chart, you go back a number of years, as you can see. The important thing is, since that break in 2016, you've rallied. You had the one bigger break that occurred with the President Trump being confirmed as having won the election, broke down that week, came back violently, and it has just gone up, making higher highs every single month since there. So we'll call that the Trump effect. When you look at a weekly chart, you've gone up from that election right on up through here, and you can see a pretty strong gain all the way through in the neighborhood of, 380 points or so. When you look at the chart on a swing line basis, you've had a pattern of higher lows and higher highs. And if you look at how many weeks in a row up, you really see this market is just tore to the upside. Eventually, when it corrects, all you're going to hear is people say, oh, well, the market got ahead of itself, or, it'd gone up so much, it was due for a correction, blah, blah, blah. Whatever they say, they say. The important thing to me, and I look on the chart, I always cover the name of the chart anyways, is 2258 is higher than 2251.75. So even on a good hard break, the 18-week moving average, which is in red, is over the green one, which is the 100, and that's still bullish, and that's one of the potential support points. Resistance comes in from the upper Bollinger Bands, and that's what these black lines are on the chart. And as you can see, the market's fighting a battle right against that band. How accurate? Well, 2402 and a fraction is the Bollinger Band, 2401 this week's high. I'd call that pretty close. When you take a look at how the market's doing in momentum, you've had a locked-in uptrend. That's the equivalent on the daily charts, which I like stochastics on daily charts much better than this. And short term, they work real nice too, 5 minutes, 20 minutes, things, 15. But right through here, still an embedded reading. Understand this works way slower on weekly charts and daily charts, and it loses some of what I call its importance. I look at it, but trust me, I don't trade based on the longer-term chart stochastics. And when we come to the Dow, you have the embedded reading. You've got the pattern of higher lows, higher highs. The upper Bollinger Band numbers, 21,211, and you got up to 21,162. So we're knocking on the door of those resistance points. Same in the NASDAQ, fully embedded reading up against the upper Bollinger Band. There's a common theme here. The theme is all the markets are over their key moving average. They've hit in their upper Bollinger Bands. This was one of the strongest, but now it's starting to bend away from that band, and the Russell's the weakest. The Russell just hasn't moved with any of these, and if anything, if it loses its embedded reading, which it can do at the end of the month, we're a long ways off. This is the 3rd of March. At the end of the week, which will be March 10th, well, you got to be careful. Now, next week, what we're going to get is the jobs data. Assuming the jobs data is neutral, slightly bad. It's not going to take the Fed off their game of raising interest rates in March. A real bad number, that could change the game. But we have to see if that occurs. I'll be looking to see if this market starts breaking down also. That's the weakest of them. The market that's ripped traders up is the VIX. And the reason is you have a sideways band where you've tried several times to move to the upside. Each time it is failing. It doesn't make it up. Often it returns to the lower band. Not every time, but often. It's just a market that is not offering the, how do I say this? The real guide that you normally look for. The volatility's out of it is what the problem is. So when you look at it as the fear index, the fear of what? You know, because you break up there with that narrow band, it's not acting the way it did back there. Okay, understand that, look at it, but maybe that's where it ends. Obviously, one of the sensitive areas is going to be the March 10-year notes because so much is based on it. And for the week, it was down 1 and 12/32. The pattern, though, is still one of higher lows and higher highs. You haven't begun on a weekly chart trending. You got up to the 18-week moving average and you failed, and momentum is flattening itself out here. As you take a look at the March dollar index, the trend is up until you take out 164. Now, today's action, any way you want to look at it, is disappointing. The Fed announced, well, they didn't announce. Ms. Yellen did what Fed talk is. She held the middle of the road, but things look good enough where the Fed's going to move sooner rather than later, blah, blah, blah. Yet the market pulled back. So if the dollar can't rally on rising interest rates, could be a problem for this particular market. So I think the bulls have to defend that number. In the euro currency, the market's been running against the 18-week moving average of closes. Momentum's no longer oversold, but there's nothing on this that can set up a bear pattern, nothing. You've got higher lows and higher highs under that number. You'd have to break under this low, and even if you do, no matter what you end up with, got a higher high and a lower low. In other words, currencies are not set up to do anything real spectacular, but the British pound is. The British pound still has the pattern of lower highs, lower lows under the 18-week average. Momentum turned down. It is certainly a candidate to come down to this lower Bollinger Band, another 100 and some odd points lower here. Canadian dollar is bearish. Market's got downside momentum. Market has lower highs, lower lows. For the week it closed under the 18-week average. Now you've also got the 100-day still over the 18. And remember, we were talking how these markets were just bouncing in this area. It's trying to give itself resolution to the downside. Japanese yen. The Japanese yen is finally starting to back off a little bit. Now, if you look at this week's high, 89.56, and you come back to the high here, it was 89.71. So you have lower highs. If we look at the low, this low here was 87.04 and a half. You haven't quite gotten under that. You need to. If you get under that, you then have lower highs, lower lows, and you could set up a test of 82.62. Now, is there anything on the horizon to scare traders into the yen? There is, and you always have to be careful of it. And that could be European elections, which are right around the corner. So we're going to have the Dutch election, then we're going to get to France. Remember, they get the first race, then the second race. And then later in the year, of course, and I'm not going to worry about it on the end now, we have the German election. So you've got to keep all that right to where you're at. In the crude oil, the weekly chart, you've got a pattern of higher lows, higher highs with an embedded reading. So even with all this noise on the daily chart, which looks bearish, the weekly chart has not lost its bullishness. So this is what the bulls have to hold on to. If you take out 51.22, the bulls have a serious issue in terms of the swing line. Now, support's right there at the 18-week average. The best thing that can happen to the bull is you take out last week's high, not this one, 54.94. You're a ways from there, but that would be the most bullish thing that could happen to them. Nat gas found its leg, and that's the problem. I thought this market would continue down this week, and with all the bear news, it didn't break, and that's because you got down to that 100-day average, and the market just said enough's enough. Even with all this bear news, there is a point where price makes sense. We're leaving winter. We're going to get demand for spring, summer, blah, blah, blah. So away you go. Plus, the rig count fell today in nat gas. These lower prices are taking some rigs off the market. 7 of them found their way into the crude. That's not the most bearish news you could have in that market. I want to talk to you about my research, and before you go away, let me explain something. I've offered a special that ends this weekend. I was going to stop it at 1 o'clock today, and people are still signing up, so I kept it going. In a nutshell, normally I offer a 20-day free trial, and it's still offered to you. If you have not tried my research, I want you to. I put out written updates, and I back it up with videos to show why I'm doing what I'm doing, what the chart patterns are. You're seeing a very generic in these videos me. You're not seeing the real me, and I really crank it up in my morning 9 o'clock video that you get to look at, because I'm able in that one to say buy here, sell there, put a stop here. When I do it this way without a user ID and password to see these videos, the government says, no, I cannot lead you in that direction, and I do my best not to. Believe me, I look at these, and if we think that we have, we'll erase them and redo them. But in the morning, I'm able to do this. So I sit at my desk, and I start recording 40 charts. I go through the stock indices, the currencies, interest rates, right on through metals, the meats, the grain markets, the soft commodities, the energies. I cover everything. And I'm giving you buy and sell ideas, where I think the pros are doing, what they're doing. You know what the goal is here? To get you some trade ideas. That's what it's all about. Now, I normally charge, if you don't trade through us, $60 for 30 days. By using the code IRA20, capitals IRA20, no space in between, just enter it in the coupon area. You'll be able to sign up and get a $20 discount on it. You say you'd like the free trial? No problem at all. Click up here if you're watching on YouTube. Underneath us, right through here, if you see us on other websites, it often says click here. You can always go to www.iraepstein.com, where you've seen our name. You'll see the carousel of free offers. Take advantage. I'm Ira. You have a great weekend. Look forward to seeing you all on Monday.